Hello, welcome. We're back again with another Ask Your Mentor Anything live. And yes, you saw some background of discussion we had with Moira. Hello, Moira. How are you?
Hi. Thanks, Virginia, for having me. I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you for accepting my request once again. And thank you for having me at the Financial Success Summit, because this summit is always a great opportunity for us to catch up as well.
Yes.
And have a live. So why not to start announcing? And of course, we will close with the Financial Success Summit again, this event. So we were discussing, if you saw us here, like this is the 5th time that Hugh actually launched this summit. It started as a marketing success summit, but now it's, I think everyone knows it as a financial success summit, and it has great success, if we can say, in the translation industry, if not more. So is this the 5th? How many times?
Yes, it is. It's the 5th time. So I'm not sure whether we did a live every single time before the summit, but I think we did. So
sorry, I have given the messages.
Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, it's 5 times, I think.
Cool. Okay, congratulations. We will give you details in the meantime about the summit. We will share with you an affiliate link if you would like to subscribe, and it's for free. It's a free event, so don't hesitate. There is no strings attached. Only if you want actually to register or upgrade later on, you can use the same link. Hello, Ileana. How are you?
Hi, Ileana.
Have you registered for the Financial Success Summit this time, which will launch in June 14th?
Yes.
Cool, I remember, right? So register for free. I'm sharing the link anyway. Yeah. And so also you have included more days, is that correct?
It's 6 days. So it was 6 days last year. I think because it says 14th to 19th, people think it's 5 days, but because it starts on the Monday and on the Saturday, there are also sessions. So it's actually 6 days. 6 days of marketing and money training.
Okay, Ileana is there, she says. Great, Ileana. Awesome. So it's totally for free if you attend live the event. It's a full day event. I think you have how many talks per day?
Between 4 and 6, depending on the days. Actually, yeah, mostly 5 sessions
and
a day.
I was surprised. I'm already in 3 days. I'm so happy, and one of them is actually about Q&A live, which it's my favorite part, to be live with you and answer any questions that you might have. That. So before we get into our topic, would you like to, do you remember the days and the topics? At least I will present in the summit. I think I'm in day 2, 3, and 4, something like that.
Yes, so I know your sessions. I'm not sure about the dates. So you present the LinkedIn marketing for translators. I believe that's day 3.
And this is a new one, because the other ones you might, if you have participated in the previous years, you might have watched it, but definitely it's good to refresh the knowledge again. It's about cold calling, the one. And the other one that you will present, which is actually from a previous summit, is, do you remember the other topic?
The financial goal setting. That's a bonus video if you upgrade to the financial success.
Okay, great. Yeah. So take this opportunity. If you upgrade, you get lifetime access, many bonuses. Among them, one bonus if you upgrade is actually some extra calls like the goal setting, which I got great feedback from the participants the other times. They were approaching me on social media, Instagram, and so on. And this time we have a new one about LinkedIn. But we're not going to cover LinkedIn today. So register for the free summit. And of course, you will be able to watch 1 hour. I don't remember the timing, but definitely it's a lot of value shared there because the questions of Moira's questions were really interesting to be answered. And we have a Q&A live, which is actually, that you remember, is the last day of the summit.
The day before last. So it's on Friday, the 18th. So if you Friday want to, the 18th at 2 p.m. CET.
CET 2 p.m. Friday at the summit. We're going live with Moira to answer any of your questions, and this is the favorite part, so can't wait to meet you there all. And let's get into our topic. So for the first time, because Moira is one of the most visited guests we have here, I will present you. I won't ask you to present yourself because I have here your bio, so I will read your bio, and if you want to add something, just to make some changes, and then we get into our discussion because we have already some questions. I see here some comments. So in order to be able to see your name, because you need to click on the StreamYard link you see in the description box so as to give us access to your name and to be visible to us. So I only see good morning from a Facebook user. In order to see your names here, you need to click the StreamYard link to be able to see your name. So Moira Monney is a Germany-based translator, copywriter, and digital marketing consultant. Amazing. Her boutique agency, Johnson Communications, focuses on helping nutrition brands increase their revenue and reputation through German, English, SEO, copywriting, and translation services, as well B2C, business-to-customer, marketing advice. Moira's dedication to helping fellow translators create more successful businesses led to her initiating the Financial Success Summit for Translators, which actually you'll find the link in the comments, and you can connect with her on her blog or on her Facebook. And of course, Moira is a member of our Mentoring for Translators group, so if you would like to ask her something directly, you can tag us. Moira or myself, and we have already one question. We will cover questions at the end unless they are related to what we are discussing already. So we will see your questions. Use the comments below to ask us anything about finances, and of course our topic was pricing packages for your direct clients today. And I was reading your bio right now, and I realized the necessity of niching down. So your bio is very niche down, very specialized, your background. You only address your services and to specific audience. And for me, this is a great success. And for those that they're struggling, it's a great advice. We can say you need at some point to find your niche, your specialization. I know it's really difficult, but definitely it's worth it. And yes, Moira, your bio is definitely a very specialized one. Your nutrition brands and so on. But let's get into our topic. Why pricing? I know that you are very successful public speaking lately. You were at SDL Trados and many other online events. Your topics always are related to pricing. Is that correct? Why you have chosen, and also Financial Success Summit?
Yes. So they are mostly about pricing and money, just because I but I like talking about money. And I feel like, first of all, I think pricing is actually an issue in our industry. And I know a lot of translators struggle with that. And second of all, I feel like we probably as a society as a whole, we have this negative view about money, or many of us anyway. And I would like to help change that, because money is actually, it's such an important part of our lives, whether we want that to be the truth or not, but it has an impact on everything. And I do feel like it's important that we make enough, or even more than enough, so that we can actually then give some away and all of that great stuff.
Thank you for mentioning that, because only those who have attended any coaching program to overcome their limiting beliefs about money, they know what you're talking about. It's like a taboo topic that those they charge high, or those they charge for consultation or for mentoring or for coach or whatever it is, it's a bad thing. Or having a lot of money, it's a bad thing. Or people that they have a lot of money, or they are rich, they are bad people. And most probably it comes from when we were younger, or from what our parents taught us, or the society itself. I don't know. We would love to know your opinion about the topic in the comments anyway. And this is definitely something we need to deal with, not only as translators, in general, I think, nowadays, as you mentioned. To overcome, for me, those are limiting beliefs that they limit our potential, to reach our potential. And not only in terms of money, but definitely in terms of money as well. Yes, it is hard to charge at times, even with an agreement, they say in the comments. This is Rosa Maria Carrasco. Thank you, Rosa, for your comment. So let's get into, why did you choose the idea? I hear something. Is your neighbor? I hear
if you can hear that, I'm sorry. My neighbor is mowing the lawn. So I've got my headset on, and there's
No problem. No, we cannot fix that. No
cancelling out a lot of the noise, but not completely, unfortunately.
Okay. So why package our services? Why pricing and packages our prices? Why did you choose that?
Okay, because I feel like it's a great way to distinguish ourselves, and it actually makes the pricing negotiation or conversation with the client a lot easier. And so that's why I actually love pricing packages. And it seems to be a fairly novel concept for many of us, actually. And so the one thing I wanted to see, actually, if we can ask our viewers, how do you currently price your services? Like, do you price by word? Do you price per hour? A mix of any of those? How do you price your services at the moment?
Great question. So let us know in the comments, Ileana, Maria, everyone that you're here with us. Let us know in the comments, how do you charge? Do you prefer per word, per hour, as Moira mentioned already? Do you have any other specific way of pricing? We don't want your rates, just the way that you price. So what I do, I usually have, let's start for myself, and let's see. Okay, so far by word, Maria says. So myself, per word rate for specific projects, it works pretty fine. Other projects, they need per hour. I usually add in that per word also my administration, project management, so on, fees. So I don't really suggest you to have a per word, at least for direct clients, rate that actually shows only the time that you translate, because this is not fair for us. I don't know if I can say that, but definitely for direct clients, I don't give them a detailed description unless they ask me so, because it confuses them and they are not aware of the industry most of the times. So for me, pricing per project is what I do. So I send them a project. I include the services that the project includes, everything that I'm going to deliver to them. And of course, the final price of that project per project. I don't know, what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what a pricing package is. So maybe we can start with the definition. Okay. So the pricing package or project-based price basically means that you sell your service as a bundle. And so you don't give your client the number of words or the number of hours even that is required to complete the project, but you actually or at least you don't focus on this aspect, and I would suggest you don't actually mention it at all, unless the client asks for it, like you said, Virginia. And then usually the project would include more than just pure translation. Like a simple package example would be translation, proofreading, and editing, for example. And that's why the approach, I mean, I use this approach usually for direct clients, not so much with agencies.
I have one question. Yeah, definitely with agencies, no, because we usually, we need to follow the instructions or how the agency charges per project or codes the project. But about direct clients, which we're going to discuss today, I had in mind, when you mentioned packages, that what I had in mind, I hear pricing packages, that we should have pre-designed, if we can say, packages per services, so as to give to the client packages like different options. That's my perception when I hear, for example, pricing packages, that we need to have, for example, 3 options, 3 different packages, that they include different things. But what you said already, it's a bundle of services. So it's not necessarily that we send 3 options. Is that correct?
No, not necessarily. So you can do, and of course you could say or state on your website, for example, that, you know, you have package 1 including, I don't know, translation and proofreading, and then package 2 including translation, editing, proofreading, including SEO research or something like that. But I don't usually do that, because I like to offer more bespoke packages. And I know that sounds like a big thing now, but it's not. It's just that I like to have a conversation with the client first to determine what they actually want and need, and then I make my offer. And then I might offer 2 different packages based on what they said. And the only difference between the 2 packages might be the delivery date, for example. And then if they need a more urgent delivery date, the price would be higher for that package. And if they give me, I don't know, 4 weeks time, then the price will be a bit cheaper.
Okay, that's great advice. So you have two options. I usually use three. That's what I've been told, but not in all of the projects. Like projects that they're maybe more complicated, or maybe they include more different options for myself as well to work towards the project. Because some projects, they don't have that flexibility to add more options. They need to be submitted or delivered in a specific way. But definitely having a discussion with the client beforehand, either via email or on a phone call or a Zoom call, definitely helps to understand what are their needs and what they're focusing on. Is the quality, is the budget specific, and so on. It really, really helps. What I meant, if you would like more about packages, is, for example, I can give an example. What I do when I have, for example, a website localization project, which I think it's a bit of more complicated project rather than a legal document, which is more straight what I'm going to do with a legal document. I don't have many options, but about a website, especially if we want to deliver the highest quality possible to the client, we can include more options. Usually the fact, and what led me to create the packages, is actually the fact that usually the clients have their mind a specific budget, or they want the lowest price. But what I've seen, based on my experience, when you give them the packages and the structure, what they include, usually they go for the highest one, if not the middle one, because they really understand the value that way. So what I do, if we can give an example, that would be a simple translation of the content of the website, one package, the simpler one. The middle one would be, for example, to have the editing, as you mentioned, the proofreading. The highest priced one might also include SEO, keywords research, or maybe also native speaker review at the end by native speaker, if it's not into Greek, the translation of the website, or maybe a discount if they're going to work with different languages at the same time, something like that, so as to give an idea to the audience what we are discussing about.
And I mean, that goes back to, so maybe we can backtrack to why it's actually a good idea to offer a package. I think that's exactly what you just said. So the focus is then more on the value. So and I think that's why it actually works great to have those packages. And I mean, maybe we can just now talk about the why then, because we're already there. So
no, but I would love your opinion about the value and how. I gave an example, but if you have something more specific to discuss about the value and how to show your value through the packages, please do so, because I just came up through an example.
But I think the example was great. I mean, I do it slightly differently. Like, I don't have a package that offers just translation to direct clients. They don't actually get that choice from me. They always have to include proofreading at least by another native speaker. That's usually the basic package, and then depending on what they need or want, then I would offer usually SEO research, but also sometimes the creation of a style guide. You could also include a terminology list, and like you said, if it's a localization project, then you may need to get more people on board anyway. And so doesn't simple content translation already include editing and proofreading?
Rosa Maria says, doesn't the simple content translation already include edit and proofreading? Yes, but not always includes, in my opinion, the collaboration with other colleagues. Not always. So you might include the editing and the proofreading, but might be done by the same translator in a different timing, for example. But including and outsourcing to other colleagues the same tasks or services, for me, it's a different part. It should be charged differently when you are the intermediary. I don't know your opinion on that, Moira.
Yeah, I fully agree. And also,
you see the chat? You can see the chat. Is that
yes,
correct?
I can see the chat. I just switched the window now. So I'm learning.
Cool.
But, the other thing I want to say, just because you think it's already included doesn't mean you don't mention it to the client. And I think that's such an important point, because to us, for example, research is always included in the translation process, right? I would still mention that as part of the package, not necessarily because I charge more for that, but because the client doesn't know what is involved in the process, and they need to know and see it in order to be able to appreciate the value that is included. And I think that's a really great question, because yeah, even if the editing and proofreading is included in your mind, in the client's mind it isn't if you just state translation. You know,
because they say translation, that's it, the translation. Why should I charge? Why should I pay this? When you mentioned, though, when you structure the packages based on the service that you include and also the research that you mentioned, terminology based or SEO research and terminology list you mentioned. So all those things are the way that you can show the value. Is that correct, Moira? To your client. Okay.
Yeah, and I think we can talk in more detail about what you can include. Let's just talk about why packaging the service is a good idea then. So we already mentioned that it shifts the focus from cost to value. And the other point is that it makes your price non-comparable. And I think the issue that we currently have in the industry is that translation is so often perceived as a commodity because I don't know, prices are set per word, like as if we were word factories. And I think and it just drives pricing downwards. I think it's a trend that we can all see. But there, you know, in order to counter the trend or at least make it irrelevant for us, I think we need to make our price non-comparable. And I think a pricing package achieves that because you have so many different ways of packaging your service, and then the client won't go looking at what the competition offers because your offer is so different, if that makes sense.
I was about to ask you, what do you mean by non-comparable? But you just mentioned the fact that someone might, or your client might, go to a different supplier on their website and see some price or get some different quotes from other clients. So by non-comparable, you mean that the fact that they won't come back to you telling you, I found a cheaper solution, or I found that kind of company or that kind of freelancer that they charge that amount of money. Is that correct? That's what you're trying. Okay. Yeah. That's really clever. Yes.
Because if you charge, I don't know, 15 cents a word, and then they come back and say, yeah, but I found one that does it for 12. Yeah, well, great. But
do they include this and this and this and this?
Exactly. But then the conversation is really hard because they already have the figures in mind. And this is not just for per word rates. I think it also goes for hourly pricing because even though you might be much more efficient, the client will still judge like the hourly rate, and they don't necessarily know what you can do in that hour versus someone else. But they still have the number in mind, and so it shouldn't be comparable. But I think it still is, and so I think a project price actually then avoids this kind of comparison. And
we try to avoid. I'm really skeptical right now if we actually manage to avoid at some minds or some people a way of approaching things. So, for example, I remember one recent code that I sent. It was about, what project was it? A legal project, most probably. I can't recall right now. But I asked them, is there a specific budget that you have in mind for the specific project? I always ask that. And I always ask also for the deadline. Do you have any specific deadline? Apart from other details, okay? I also include some other details that I want to know before I send the code. And I got an answer that we don't have a specific budget in our mind, but we have what is the average budget based on the Greek market, translation market. Which is not that fair, because if we take into consideration that here in Greece they might charge 4 cents or 8 cents maximum, for example, for their clients, it's pretty low. And it's something that limits you already from the beginning. When someone tells you something like that, it's like looking for the lowest price. What's your opinion? If we get, how we should deal with such, I don't know, reactions from our clients and answers?
Yeah. Okay. So of course, this just offering packages doesn't eliminate the comparison discussion altogether. That would be no.
But I would love to. Be the case. Maybe in the future, at an ideal situation, I don't know.
No, but I think it does make negotiation easier. And of course, if they say we have the average of what a translation like this would cost in XYZ market, you can always then ask. So, for example, first of all, ask for what that average is, because
they don't tell you.
I think
it's the average prices of the translation market here in Greece. They won't tell you.
But I think that makes it difficult because they have a figure in mind and you don't know that figure. And I would explain that
I have an idea of the lowest rates that they exist out there. Okay, I'm a professional and many years in the business. I have an idea of the lowest rates. But when I hear something like that, I realize that they're not my ideal client because I cannot compete the lowest rates. So they're having a package is a great solution to set you as a professional, as an expert in the field. And even though they cannot afford your budget, you definitely set yourself apart from the competition. They realize that, yes, that should be the ideal situation, but right now I cannot afford it. Or the best case scenario would be, yes, that might be more affordable, but we will go with Moira because Moira knows what she's talking about, and what she writes in her code is what we exactly would like to have right now.
That's the thing.
At least, my approach.
Yeah, and I think also if they don't give you a number or at least a ballpark figure, then your quote is based on an assumption and it might not necessarily be the correct one.
And they did it 3 times. So I suppose this is a big company. They're getting 3 different quotes in order to choose most probably the lowest one. So I asked them the 3rd time if I could be excluded from this process because it's not how we work. And definitely I cannot beat the lowest rate competition. And I don't know, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I usually try and then steer the discussion in a different direction then. So I usually manage to get a figure out of them anyway. Even if I have to ask the question 3 different ways or something, you need some kind of ballpark figure to see whether you're even within a range that you can negotiate on, or whether it's completely like a no-no.
What would you do? Would you do a no-no? Would you do a no-no? Like
no.
Would you be excluded from this, like sending a quote, or would you send a quote anyway, even if you knew that, for example, would be higher than their budget?
I would send a quote if I know that it's higher than their budget, but not if it's like triple their budget, if you see what I mean. And
if it's triple their budget, what would you do, for example? Would you tell them, like, we cannot undertake the project?
This is not feasible.
Have you done that? Have you done that with their clients? This is not feasible for me. I did that once. They were pressing me to lower my rates. I told them that I couldn't because I have the same rates many years, and it was about 2 cents difference anyway. I told them that I cannot. They were pressing. I tried to figure out a way to do it, so I asked them for a longer maybe deadline.
Okay, that's fine.
But still, it wasn't feasible on their part. So I told them, if I cannot have a different deadline, at least with this pressure of the deadline and lowering the rate, it's not visible. So yes, I've told the same as well. So we have Rosa Maria. She says, I have a client that asks me to translate minutes of 2 meetings, which are about 4,000 to 6,000 words each at the price I mentioned before. And yes, I do know what they're talking about. Lola. Okay, Rosa, do you want to take the question of Rosa, since just pumped in? You remember the question? I can just read it again. I have here.
Something about discounts.
Yes, so she says, I've been hired for translation English to Spanish. Also, I have been charging 15 cents a word. Is a discount warranted for documents over 3,000 words, or a sliding fee? And what does that look like, discount or sliding fee? Sliding fee, I have no idea. I have some perception right now, but thank you. That's the question. Okay. Do you want to take it right now, since we're talking about pricing and?
Yeah, we can do so. So I mean, there's no, like, I can't give you a yes or no answer because it depends on the details. But the questions I think you could ask yourself is, first of all, why is the discount warranted? Like, are you faster because of those 3,000 words? I mean, 3,000 words, I don't think that's, like, in the whole scheme of things, is not very much. I think that's like a normal translation. Are there like loads and loads of repetitions so that you're really fast translating that? And then, yeah, you could allow for a discount. But again, if it's just because they give you a lot of work and they think you should offer a discount for that, then I would say no. Because if it doesn't make you faster, why would you work at a lower rate just because they give you 3,000 words? because we are
advice,
not. Yeah, because there are no, when you have she says, no, it's never fast. so no, then no.
And my 5 cents, if we can say here, is actually that if you're going to give not even 6,000, no, for me a discount would make sense over 20,000 words or something like that, which is considered a 40,000 words project, which is considered a big project. But if you would ask me my advice, I would never give a discount, even if it was 100,000 words. Doesn't really work like that, our industry. Unless you have matches in a CAD tool that actually won't work. And still for their clients, if I wasn't asked, so I wouldn't reveal that detail. But that's my opinion on that. So definitely, I don't really understand why to give these discounts. Are you asked by the client, Rosa Maria, to give that discount? Because in general, it's not advised to give discount, and I don't really realize the reason why to do so behind any call that you send or any client that you are negotiating your rates. Definitely, I wouldn't consider giving a discount unless I was directly asked for, and that should make a sense behind, of that request. As Moira mentioned, is it faster for you? So, for example, do they give you the terminology? Do they give you a previous translation of the same content? Do, I don't know, help you with the terminology? Do they provide you memory? Have you worked with them before and you have already half of it translated? Still though, I wouldn't consider that, out of the blue, like without any background of that case to know why to consider giving the discount. I don't know what's your opinion on discounts in general. So she says, no, I translate from scratch. Yeah, no.
So then no.
No.
The answer is no.
Please let us know, because I'm really curious. Why to give a discount? Were you asked by the client, or are you considering to be more competitive? What's the reason behind of asking that question? Why do you want to give a discount?
That's a good question. And also, I love what you just said. And the thing is, I think the thing with the discounts came about because if we were a product-based business, like at some stage, the more products we produce, the cheaper it would be for us. But the thing is, with our service-based business, it doesn't work like that, because it's not like the more words we produce, the cheaper it gets. There are no economies of scale. So the discount is not actually warranted. And then in terms of the sliding scale, so sliding scale is when you offer a different price to different clients. And I think you can do that depending...
Yes. Yeah. You have discussed that before. Yes, we have discussed that together in a previous level of yours. Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, you can price depending on the value that you provide to them, or depending on the budget that they have. But I don't think I would offer a sliding scale for different projects with the same client.
No, yes, definitely. Only it depends on the deadline. So if I have a very urgent project or a very different project, even if it's for the same client, I might charge higher. But that should be the case. I need to justify why I would do that. Just that it adds up, and I find uncomfortable receiving $1,000 at times for a document. Are you kidding me? This is great discussion. This is what we're discussing, Rosa Maria, here. You see, now you need to answer that, Moira, because you started the discussion by that. And we have a real example here. Rosa Maria, she says, I feel uncomfortable receiving $1,000 at times for a document. I don't feel at all uncomfortable. I have received 5-figure in money amount per month for just, one document, very cute, but still one document. I don't feel very bad about it. But definitely, I would love your opinion how to overcome this limiting. This is a mindset issue.
Yeah, it is a mindset issue. We could go off on like a 3-hour conversation.
Yeah, shortly, just an advice. Maybe it could be our next session, something about mindset.
Yes,
but definitely an advice. It should really help, because I don't think it's only Rosa Maria. I think it's a profession, and definitely in the back head of other colleagues, they might pointing other colleagues that they make 6 figures or 5 figures. That's, as you mentioned before, it's something bad, or it's something exaggerating, or I don't know what they are thinking about that. But what's your opinion?
So first of all, also, I want to say we are laughing, but we're not laughing like about you or something. I just want to make that clear. because
yeah, we're laughing.
I think we were all in this position once. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And I think it's like you said, it's a mindset issue, and I really want us as an industry to work on this. There is nothing bad about receiving $1,000 for a document. Seriously not. And so what I would suggest in terms of working on your money mindset is, first of all, look at the money stories that you have internalized. Actually, I just sent out a newsletter about that. So what were you told, or what were you taught in your, usually it goes back to childhood, like you said earlier, Virginia. What were you taught about money? Why is it bad to have money? What does it mean to have money? Or, you know, and I was giving this example in my newsletter about
your son.
Yeah, so my son.
What my son taught me about money. So,
oh, you read it? Okay. Yeah.
Shortly, I didn't have the time, but I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he was watching this cartoon, and there were two friends, and they went out on a treasure hunt. And as soon as they found the treasure, not only did the king's representative come 3 times in order to get the share, the king's share, but also they started fighting and arguing over the money as soon as they had it. And they were like the cutest, closest friends before. And so I think what that teaches us is, first of all, you're not going to be a kind person once you have money. It's bad to have money because you might lose your friends or loved ones. And third, if you have money, someone is going to come and take it away anyway. And this is seriously screwed up. And I think we've all been bombarded with these messages. And so what I think, or what I would like you to do, or what I would invite you to do, is actually look at all of that. What have you internalized about money and what it means to have money? And I think that will already give you some revelations and awareness, and then you can see, is that actually, or you can ask yourself, is that actually true? Is that actually the real truth, or is that what I was taught, or what is my perception, or something like that? And dig a bit deeper, and then you will actually see that honestly, money is just a tool. And if you're a good person, then, you know, that is amplified by having more money, because you can use it for a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to realize why this all has come up in the childhood, or as you mentioned, on the TV, the children's series and so on. I think it's also the religion has played a role about this. Yes. It's also the fact that we have seen some very bad stories around money, or people that they are hunting the money and they are ready to do everything in order to get that around and things like that. That's my perception. But this shouldn't be only one-way road, okay? This shouldn't be the only part of the reality. Yes, it's a part of our reality that might this happen. People, yes, are killing maybe for money, or doing very bad things for money, but that shouldn't be, okay, the one way to go when it comes to money mindset. It should be, yes, good people also can make money by providing value. People that help others that can make money as well. And not only bad people, they will make money in this world. And definitely, for me, it was really revealing today that Rosa Maria mentioned, I feel bad to get $1,000 for a document. Yeah. This is everything. Like, I don't think there's anything more to say about that. And definitely in our profession, we see it a lot. And of course, here in Greece, having so many years financial crisis and people losing their jobs and having financial issues, it's also another reason why some people, they're lowering their rates, or they're feeling bad to charge what they think they should charge, and they are going for lowering rates, or even volunteering a lot when it shouldn't. And I'm not talking about only our profession, like lawyers, they do the same, financial accountants, they do the same. So advisors, and Yes, we need to find a balance in between what happens in the real life, as you mentioned. Yes, there is a financial crisis. Yes, there are people who are losing the job, but at the same time, there's always a room for growth. Okay, also in our personal development, but also when it comes to our professional success and what is success defined by any of us. Okay, success might be to earn 1,000 euros per month. For others, might be 6 figures per year. Doesn't really matter. It's how you define your success and to go after it. Yeah,
I think that's a really important point also, because you know, we talk about success and stuff, and it means something different to all of us, and I think all of those definitions are valid, but I still think that don't feel bad about the money that you receive. I think that's the first thing. And even if you would like to make just, I was going to say a little bit of money, but you know, a little bit also means different things to different people. So let me rephrase that. I do, well, maybe just, you know, the definitions of success are all valid, and just feel good that you're actually fulfilling your own vision. And even if your country, wherever you're watching from, is actually in that same position, like in financial crisis, I think it does something to your mindset as well. Now, I don't have that experience, so I can't like speak from my own experience, but I do think it makes you feel maybe less secure around money. That's what I've heard. And Rosa Maria says, no, I like it.
There is no right thing. Yeah, exactly. You see, again, behind the words, I see also another mindset issue. I want to do the right thing. Why it's a bad thing to charge, for example, as you mentioned, the price you mentioned before, and why it's right, for example, Rosa Maria, to charge less. Why it's the right thing to charge less.
And for who?
Yeah, and for who? And if you answer those questions, okay, to yourself, you definitely realize what might be going wrong with your mind. So start why you think this is the right or wrong thing to do so, why you feel bad when you charge, for example, as you mentioned, $1,000 for a document. And if you realize what's the source, okay, from those limiting beliefs and mindset issues, maybe you find a solution to work against those limiting beliefs. And definitely all of us need to work towards those things. I have a coach myself. I ask you, you saw here, I ask you a question in order to realize what in the market happens. And what really has helped me to overcome my own limiting beliefs is actually traveling a lot abroad, attending international conferences and events when I realized that some people, they're making money out of the industry. It's not a profession that we should be the lowest paid ones, okay? That it's a perception that we have here in Greece. So when I managed to travel abroad, to go to international conferences, to attend speeches of other very successful translators, I realized, yes, I can do that myself too. I can reach that point of success if I define success that way. So definitely you need to overcome limiting beliefs and go away from what you have, your surroundings, if they're keeping you back from getting what you want.
Oh yeah, that's such a big thing. I just want to address something else in the comments.
It's the norm, they say. Yeah, it's the norm.
Exactly. It's the norm. You don't need to do what the norm does, because if the norm jumps off the bridge, you're not going to do that. So just define what's right for you. Think about what you want and the kind of money that you need, and then you charge according to that. And you don't look at what's quote unquote normal, because what is normal for some people, their normal is 6 figures, multiple 6 figures.
Exactly. I was about to say why it's the norm. Why it's not the norm, the 6 figures? Like why we set the norm? Who set the norms? Why it's the norm, for example, not to earn maths? Why it's the norm? Who sets the norm? And what
I love
is the
this
norm?
Conversation, actually.
Yeah, because what is the norm? Like Rosa Maria, please let me know. She says, what's the norm? Okay, who defines the norm? And what's the norm? That what most people do is the norm? That's not my idea of the things, definitely.
No. And then the other thing that I wanted to address just quickly, you say it's being about bilingual just because of background, and it comes natural to me, and I do have a master's in business. I feel like, and this is very common, that we feel like something is easy or simple for us we think that we shouldn't charge much or that we can't charge much, but that's not actually what it's about. And maybe if we bring this back now to the pricing packages, for example, you could include a terminology list within your pricing package or within your project.
Add more value.
Yeah, exactly. And you charge for that additional value that you provide. And I know that with, usually with most CAT tools, you can actually, just click one button and like extract the terminology list, and it's not that much more work for you. But it actually it increases the value for the client massively. And so I think you can and should charge for that. So it's not really about what comes easy to you, because there are other people who charge good amounts of money for something that is easy for them, but for you it's a big pain in the bum, and so you pay for that.
And in order to reach the point, this thing to be easy for you, you have studied, I don't know, more than 5 years. You have gained experience by working in the field how many years? You have taken CPD lessons, courses about how to use these CAT tools. You have paid, to purchase those CAT tools with one click to be able to download this terminology. So even if it sounds that easy, it's not that easy, and we shouldn't have everything like as a taken in our profession. We should really focus on the value once again. And there is one whole hour live with Moira about the value pricing. So definitely you can go back and find it on our YouTube channel or the video section of the Mentoring for Translators group to watch it again, because it's definitely an eye-opening session. And we need to overcome those limiting beliefs, definitely, at some point. But let's get back to the pricing. How to create your project pricing packets. So let's give some tips, practical, and then we get into the financial success. Unless there is anything you would like to cover and we didn't up to now.
No, I think we can. Yeah, we can do that. So let's talk about the creation of the project price then. So there are 5 steps, basically. So the first one is the initial conversation. The second is the evaluation of your costs. Then the third step is deciding on the services that you want to include within your package. The fourth step is deciding whether you want to offer just one package or 2 or even 3, like Virginia said. And then fifth, you define the scope of the project. So you create your offer and then send your quote, basically. So if we go through each of those steps in a bit more detail. So the initial conversation with the potential client is really one of the most important steps. And with direct clients, I actually like to have either a phone call or a Zoom conversation rather than just an exchange via email, because that conversation already gives me it gives me an opportunity to show what kind of value I can provide to the client, because I can ask questions that show that I know what I'm talking about without me actually, selling something, because I know a lot of us are uncomfortable with that. But just by
another limiting belief.
True.
Let's go.
Good. So it gives you an opportunity to show your expertise by the questions that you ask. And also you show the client that you are actually interested in their project and in their business. And I think that in and of itself actually already increases the perceived value, because you are not just, looking at the text and then retyping it in another language, if you see what I mean, like in the client's eyes. And then, so prepare yourself first, know what your service actually helps the client to do. And I think that's one that we've covered extensively in the value conversation that we had the other day. But you need to know whether your translation helps the client improve or even save their reputation, or whether it increases visibility, opens markets, adds revenue or profitability, or whether it helps save, costs or time, increase productivity. And that, depends on your area of specialization, but have some idea. And then you can ask your client about their goals, their business goals, the goals on the purpose of the translation, and then what that represents to the business. Okay. And this is where you get into the value conversation. So you bear in mind what your service helps your client to do. And you, by the questions that you ask, get them to realize the value of what your translation will offer.
Yeah, now
And
that you
then also-
mentioned the questions that you're asking for, I think this is a great also issue we have as translators. If you don't have the business mind, as we say, or entrepreneurial activity in your mind as yourself, and you only consider yourself a translator, then it's very difficult to get on those discussions and promote yourself as the expert to go, even if you are an expert as a translator. If you don't have those skills, communication skills, negotiation skills, and to ask the right questions to the client, to show professionalism, then this is what we lack most of the times, and we cannot overcome those also pricing limits that we set, because you need to have those skills in order to convince, if we can say, the direct clients that you are the go-to expert. Why you are smiling?
No, because it's so true.
Isn't it? True. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, I guess the good thing about this is that these skills are all learnable. Is that a word? These skills can be learned.
Can be developed, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And some translators, they don't want. This is why I consider it as an issue, that they don't want, or they have confidence issues or communication issues. So definitely, even if we can develop it at some point, we also need to consider that this is a problem, that we need to work towards it, and we need to overcome our lack of confidence, maybe to go on a phone call with clients, because I've seen that so often through my mentoring programs. This is the main problem that I see, that in order to overcome their lack of confidence, they keep themselves behind of any entrepreneurial activity, which actually getting into good discussion with your clients, booking appointments with your clients, selling, as you mentioned, because it's not very small topic. The fact that most of the translators, they have selling issues they don't want. They see it as a bad thing. They find it very difficult. So lack of confidence for me, and also lack of the
money issue,
isn't it? Yeah, of course. Of course.
Sorry, I cut you. Go on.
No, that was
Okay. I agree. I mean, it's very actually what I want to say is there's a great session in the Financial Success Summit for Translators about how to use your shyness as an asset in your business. And I think if you identify as a shy person, then definitely go and watch that, because we talked about some of those.
Later, we're going to give you an overview of the sessions at the end of this live. This is very good. Thank you. They say you're welcome. Register for free, attend for live the event, or upgrade for the paid version. Get some extra bonuses, calls, and some gifts from the speakers and sponsors and so on. So we were at the initial conversation. You covered this, okay? And then the second step you mentioned is evaluate the costs.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like your usual evaluation of the source files, okay? So actually, one thing I would like to add to the initial conversation is that you definitely need to ask the client about their budget, like we said earlier. I think that's also part of the questions that you ask. Like I said, you need to get at least a ballpark figure to see whether it's worthwhile pursuing the conversation, and to give you an idea of where to place your packages.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And then you go to the evaluation of your costs. So you evaluate the source files. You look at how many words, how many hours are involved, any costs for people that you might want to get on board with you, like if a proofreader, or I don't know, if you include desktop publishing, you probably need another person for that. You know, the kinds of additional services that you want to include, if there's any extra cost for those. And the price that you calculate here then serves as a basis, okay? This is not what you communicate to the client. You need to know what your costs are in order to come up with a price. And also, this is the price or the point below which you won't go in your negotiations. So that's why you need to have that calculated. And then step 3, you decide on the services you want to include. Was there something you wanted to add, Virginia?
No, I'm taking the chat. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm taking the chat as well. So
good. And then, so apart from the actual translation, will you offer anything in addition? So you could add editing, proofreading, desktop publishing, like we said. You could include a terminology list. You can create a style guide. You can create or you can do the SEO research for your client rather than having the client deliver the keywords and you just translate them, which usually doesn't work. You would do the research for your market. You can include a cultural conversation. I think that's something that works really great because it increases the value and it's not easily compared to what your colleagues or competitors would do. So just to give you, shall I give an example?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so I once worked with a client here in Germany, and so, for example, if the brand name doesn't work with another language or culture, that's a great thing to consult on. And so, when I was working with this client, they had a brand name in German, and it had the German article D in front of it, and you know, D is written D-I-E. So the something. And I told them, okay, your UK audience is probably going to read this as die, something, at least initially. And even if the word that is followed by is clearly not in English, they will still first read this as die. And that's obviously not a great word to have in your brand name. And so they dropped the article and they really appreciated that advice. And I think it massively increased the value of the package that I offered. So that's just an example of what you can do. And honestly, that didn't take me long or anything to notice this. Like I looked at the brand name and thought, yeah, that won't work. But that's not the point. The point is you increase the value and that's what you need to charge for. Okay. And then, like I said earlier, I would also include research or anything that I consider part of the job in my offer, like in the what is included, because it increases the value of the package.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how to decide how many packages? This is really interesting. I'm really curious that you mentioned that the next step is actually to decide how many packages you're going to offer.
So you could, of course, just offer that one price, one package. But I think if you offer 2 packages or even 3, like you said earlier, I usually do 2, but you can definitely offer several options so the client can choose, because then the decision that the client has to make is no longer, do I want to work with this person, yes or no? But it's, okay, will I choose package 1 or package 2 or package 1 or 2 or 3? So it's no longer a yes or no decision that they're making. And they really get focused on the value and they choose the package that best corresponds to them. And
the 3 packages is a trick, the 3 packages, because based on marketing, you can read online as well. But I was advised by my sales coach. Actually, when you give 3 packages, you get more chances to actually get hired for the premium package, for the most expensive one. So you get the rate that you want. That's based on statistics. So if you give 3 options to your client, but I'm not telling you that you need to, I don't know, invent the wheel here. Okay, if it makes sense for your offer actually to have 3 different offers, yes, don't put pressure on actually finding 3 different options for your client. But if you offer 3 different options, this is based on statistics and is a marketing hack that you actually get a team to be hired for the highest priced one.
I found that actually works with 2 packages too. People usually choose the second,
again, the
second
most
more expensive,
the highest one.
Actually the expensive option. So it's not like
it works with 2. Okay,
yeah,
it works with 2 as well. Okay.
Just because I don't want to confuse the client. And usually I'm quite happy to just create 2, to be honest.
Yeah, and also, you know, that's one point. So I don't want you to put pressure on your work in order to create 3. If it comes easily for you to create 3 and to add some more value in order to be able to charge even higher for the project, that for me, it really makes sense to have 3. And the other reason why I do that, because yes, I have also the limiting beliefs here in Greece, because some clients are already in financial issues. So I really want to cover the cheapest, if we can say, solution, or the lowest possible one. I really want to give them the option, at least, that yes, you have the option, but you lose all the other value. But I'm here also to serve that kind, of needs if they actually are in need of that. So it helps me sleep better at the night. This is a reason why I can offer something more affordable to people that actually cannot afford the higher budget. But in my experience, I can tell you 9 out of 10 times they go for the highest or the middle one. Rarely, very, very rarely for the most affordable one.
Same. Yeah. Very good.
Okay. And create your offer, define the scope. What do you mean define the scope here?
So you define the scope for each of the packages that you've decided to offer. By scope, I just mean what is included in the project. And this is where you then list the services that you include. And so you would say, for example, translation, transcreation of your 10 product files, 1 marketing brochure, and the creation of a style guide or whatever.
We've covered that. What's the difference between 2 packages or 3 packages? We have given several examples, but also right now you're talking about this as well.
Yes. So the difference between one package to another can simply be a different delivery date. So if the client needs the project urgently, they have to pay more. And if they are happy to extend the deadline, then they can pay a bit less. So that would be one difference. It doesn't have to be like a big
or
thing.
A more extra quality control process. Like if they want either more quality control, more maybe reviewed by another native or so on. So you can have different process to show them that you can actually deliver more value that way. Many things, different things. But yes, deadline might also be one. If it's a sworn or a simple translation, might be for legal documents or the legal translation, something. I got it. Thank you. You're welcome, Rosa Maria. So you create your offer, define scope as you mentioned.
Yeah. So, and I don't list the number of words or hours in there. Okay. I list the documents that are included and usually also regardless of the number of pages or something, because that would then go back to the commoditized breaking down that I don't want to. So I just say, okay, this project includes translation, whatever, of XYZ documents. And then I say, who else will be working on the project? So just to give an example, I would say by 1 marketing translator and a copywriter or something, including proofreading by a 2nd certified native speaker or something along those lines. Just so
because you're an agency. You're an agency. If you're a freelancer, you can put your name there, but you can put, for example, you can include proofreading by another native freelance translator or something like that as an additional service. If you're not an agency, because Moira is an agency, so she can tell I hire a copywriter, and so on. So it's obvious that you outsource. If it's not obvious, you can even include it as an additional service that you can provide as a freelancer as well. You don't need to be an agency to provide that extra.
No, definitely not.
Okay, sense.
So I did that even when I was just working, but I started working with people in a team once I started working with direct clients, because I think in order to offer good quality,
extra support
that can be published, you need a 2nd pair of eyes. And so, just say that you'll be, doing XYZ work, and then there's a 2nd native translator reviewing the files or something along those lines. And then, of course, you include research, and then whatever else you've decided to offer in your package, like the desktop publishing or the cultural consultation, so that the brand is aligned with the target market, or some whatever else you've decided.
Do you price per service? So you say research €0, or you add an amount, or you just name the service and you have a final amount?
Yes. Yeah, I have 1 project price.
And we have heard from other colleagues that they include those services, but they have put 0, for example.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you did say that in the value conversation that we had before. I don't actually do it that way because I don't want them to drop certain services. Like if I said, editing is €50, and then they come back and say, please drop the editing, because that's not an option. The package is, and you get that for this price. If you want something else, choose a different package. You know what I mean?
Very clever. Great. Of course, yes.
Yeah. So, but yes, and then of course I I try and remind the client of the value that the total package will provide. And so I close with, I don't know, can't wait to support you in growing your German customer base or something along
That's the scope.
Yeah.
Okay, and cool. Thank you so much. Was there anything else you would like to add?
No, that's it. I think...
Did I interrupt you? Okay.
No, you didn't.
Cool. So before we get into Financial Success Summit a bit as an overview, just a success story, if we can say, for inspiration here, because we talk about dropping down clients or so on. I had one client that they came to me. It was a very difficult legal text. The deadline was like in the weekend, something like that. I charged them the rate that I have for agent projects, and they denied. Okay, they rejected my quote because they told me we found a very, very less expensive proposal, so we're going with them. So they came back to me because those people were a big firm that they export fruits in Germany, actually. So they came back after 3 weeks or something. They told me that the translation was a crap. They actually lost the negotiation in Germany because of the bad translation. They begged me to undertake another project. They told me that I'm going to be the go-to expert from now on for them. Okay, they're going to work only with me. And since then, they gave me great publicly online reviews for my services. And for me, that's a great win. And it's also a great story to share because it's a real event. And also, you shouldn't be discouraged from such events that someone might, reject your quote because they find it expensive and so on. For me, the bad thing, if we can say depressive situation, would be someone to reject you because of lack of quality, lack of professionalism, or lack of providing the actual needed information rather than the actual price. Ileana says, yes, it happened to me. What, Ileana, has happened to you to be rejected for your quote and then having someone coming back to you? Let us know in the comments. Yes, I would love to know, Ileana, what's your story behind of that. So thank you so much, Moira. Let's talk a bit about, because we are over time here, but we have 3 minutes. Okay, about Financial Success Summit. Why someone to attend this one if they have already attended all the other 4 ones? What's the different topics that you cover this time? If you have an exclusive bonus that you would like to share with the audience here to know if they are going to upgrade, and if you would like to let us know a bit of the overview of what are going to be the topics.
Yes, sure. So why should you attend if you've already attended all the others? Well, there are 14 new sessions, so loads actually this time. And so and actually, I do recommend you watch some of the evergreen ones too.
Mine? The evergreen, okay.
No, just because I feel like the question is not whether you've heard this before or whether you've watched it before, but the question is, have you applied it? Is there anything that you can improve in your business? And the answer is usually yes. That's up to you to answer. And I think it's always good to refresh your mind
and also,
anyway.
I might tell that maybe you have attended, but I bet that if you didn't upgrade for the pro packets, definitely you missed some of them. So it's a great opportunity for you to actually catch up with the content if you've missed any of those sessions. So 14 new sessions.
Yes.
About...
So one of the new sessions that I mentioned earlier is the one how to use your shyness as an asset in your business. That's on day 1. And then day 2 is actually completely full of new sessions. So we've added a full day of sessions to up-level your skills. And those are basically sessions that can help you add a new service to your portfolio. If you've ever thought about adding subtitling, adding SEO translation, adding localization, copywriting, any of those, you will find those covered on the second day of the summit. So that's awesome. And then we have 2 days of marketing our business and then 2 days of managing our money. And both of those include new sessions as well.
I'm in the 2 marketing days, and in one of the finance.
You're in the marketing days with the LinkedIn training, and in the money training. No, sorry, in the marketing days with the LinkedIn training and the cold calling training. And I think both of our attendees are going to the summit, so yay. And then on the Friday, we're doing the live session together. Ask us anything about business or money or marketing, anything you want.
Can't wait for that. Can't wait for the live session to ask us anything live. But before that, go and attend the summit live. It's going to be for free. And if you have any questions, attend the Q&A, because it's a great discussion always. The time flies at that live. I have attended at least a couple of them with Moira, and it's a great energy, great audience, and great questions to be covered. And also definitely my LinkedIn interview, if you can say, I disclose everything I do, okay? Everything I teach in my 3-month group coaching program that actually starts in July. So go and find that in less than 1 hour. I cover that, my inbound and outbound marketing strategy, and I answer all of Moira's question about LinkedIn prospecting, and of course cold calling, and a lot of new sessions and evergreen session, as Moira mentioned, of great colleagues, well-esteemed colleagues, great names in the industry. Go and check the link that I have shared in the comments. Tag Moira or myself if you have any questions about the Financial Success Summit, our today's topic, which is actually pricing to direct clients through packages, using packages. And last invitation, in between, in less than 1 week, I cover one training about sales, because I was invited to create one training about sales. So it was about time, okay, to overcome our limiting beliefs about selling on LinkedIn this time. So it's next Thursday. If you want to overcome your limiting beliefs about LinkedIn and selling on LinkedIn, selling online, because LinkedIn is the best platform to sell online. And if you want to find out what you've been doing wrong and you don't get engagement on your post, or you don't get any clients on LinkedIn, then join me for this free event as well, which is going to be next Thursday, June 10th, and it's going to be the 3 secrets to mastering your LinkedIn sales for your translation and typing business. It's going to be 90 minutes free live event, block 2 hours in your schedule, so as to be able to attend and to make the full out of it. And of course, there's going to be a private group that we're going to have short live trainings every day to prepare preparation exercises for the actual masterclass. So I would love to see some of you there, and of course to attend Moira's summit, which for me, it's I've told that before, to a pioneer. Moira is a pioneer. It's the only summit that exists for our industry, and the topic actually itself, it's very innovative, and no one has ever talked to us or present about finances, and those are full days, okay, with topics from very well esteemed and known translator. A refresh is always useful, says Ileana. Sounds good. So can't wait to see some of you, or all of you. I invite you to free events, the Financial Success Summit and the free LinkedIn Sales Masterclass next week. Hope to see you there all. Thank you so much, Moira. Is there anything else you would like to add that we didn't discuss about the summit?
No, I think we've covered everything, and I hope to see everyone there.
Yeah, and also the week I have my birthday, so it will be a celebration for me.
Nice.
On 16th, on June 16th. So thank you all of you for being here live with us. Those that you just commented, and we show you that you were here with us. Those that you're shy, and I see that you're watching us, but you didn't introduce yourself. If you come up with any questions, then definitely tag us in the Mentoring for Translators group. We are live actually on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook publicly on my page right now. So definitely tag me or Moira if you have any more questions. And if you watch the replay, use the hashtag replay and ask us anything about today's topic or the Financial Success Summit. And if you have any questions about Financial Success Summit, you can definitely contact Moira. Moira, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time flies as always. It was very, very interesting, the discussion. They say here in the comments, this was great. Thank you both. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been here and we didn't see your names. And see you next week with the free masterclass. And of course, in June for the mid-June for the Financial Success Summit. Thank you, Moira. Have a great weekend to you all. You stay with me, Moira, okay? And see you in the group. Bye-bye.
Bye.